We got everyone here before it even started this week. Happy Saturday. Good to see you all. Shaniel, Freddie, Victor, Alexandru. Amazing. Yeah, just while we got most of the members in, Ben, one of the new members last week, a guy I speak to quite regularly, he was suggesting that I do I think he said a 15-minute just members only stream before my normal deadline ones. I thought it was a really nice idea. So from the next deadline stream onwards, I think I'll do that. And it shows that I think would be quite useful because most of the members are here at 8:30 a.m. So yeah, hopefully you'd like that idea because I'll start it for next week. He suggested it like 10 minutes ago, so I didn't quite have time to set it all up. But if you guys like it, we shall go for it. Yeah, I hope you're all doing well. This week, I feel like the last couple of weeks in FPL, the decision making has been so difficult. Yeah, I've got no idea what to do with my team, to be honest. Well, I say that. I think I've worked it out. I'll just share my team. So here's how we're looking at the moment. Got Martinez in goal, Pedro Porro, Saliba, Udogi, Palmer, Saka, Foden and Gordon, Haaland, Watkins, Solanke and Bowen on my bench. We've got all the members in. Look at that. Good to see you all. Thank you for joining the stream. I'm probably going to do Lascelles. I'm clicking my OBS there. I think I'm going to do Lascelles to Trippier and then start Trippier over Saliba. Or I guess if I really want to keep the cash in the bank, I could do Saliba to Trippier. But I just like the thought of having Saliba on my bench. Yeah, I don't know. Just want to think about it. But I definitely think I'm going to bring Trippier in this week. Purely because I'll show Lascelles for the fixtures. I quite like the Liverpool. I quite like the Newcastle fixtures. Yes, they don't blank in 26, but it is a terrible fixture. Arsenal away. But I feel like, I don't know what you guys thought, but Newcastle really impressed me against Aston Villa in Gameweek 22. Game just gone. They looked like all they needed really was a rest. And now they're back to full sort of strength. So yeah, Lascelles to Trippier I think is a good option. And Trippier, he's gone like well up and down in price, hasn't he? I think at one point he was up and around 7.5 million. I think he's dropped a fair bit now. And I don't think his ownership is actually that. Oh, it's still 40%. But he's 6.7 million, which isn't that expensive. I could sell one of my Spurs defenders, mate, but I like them. Like Udogi has been an absolute godsend for me. Obviously, he scored a goal against Brentford, and I want him back afterwards as well. So yeah, I could potentially do it. But I like the thought of just having an extra defensive option off the bench as well. I've had Taylor and Lascelles in my team for God knows how long now. Yeah, interesting one. I do have a little small confession to make as well. I've been so busy with work and other things this week. I managed to crack up 3 YouTube videos, which I'm happy with. But unfortunately, I haven't had time to do a quiz this week. So there's going to be no quiz, but we'll have a look at some teams in Draft Hound and stuff. Before I do that, Alexander needs his differential. My thoughts on the Liverpool double? I don't think it's going to happen in 25 now, by the looks of it. I don't think it's going to happen. Anyway, I put together some score predictions, as I do for every week. I've gone through each of the games and predicted the score. It's always useful, I think, to go through, when starting defenders and picking what teams to buy. If you predict the scores of each of the games and think about how they're going to go, it might help you decide who to bring in. Unfortunately for me, I decided who to bring in before making my score predictions. So I think my score predictions might be a bit biased towards the players that I'm targeting. But anyway, Liverpool, Everton and Spurs. I do think Spurs win that game, but I've got a feeling that Everton just nick a goal. Brighton, I think they will beat Palace 2-1. Burnley 2, Fulham 2. I think that'll be the score in that game. Both teams are able to score. I just don't think there'll be a clear winner. So I've gone 2-2 in that one. I think Newcastle beat Brighton 2-0. Why am I saying all the wrong team names? Newcastle beat Luton 2-0, especially at St James's Park. I think Newcastle are a different beast. Obviously did really well at Villa Park last week. Haven't had a fixture midweek, so they're fully rested, ready to go. They don't have Isak, but Gordon up front, I think they'll have enough to be dangerous against Luton. I don't think they'll spank them on that regards, but I don't think Luton score. Sheffield United and Villa, I think Villa win that one 3-0. I just don't see anything going on really with Sheffield United. Bournemouth 2, Forest 0. I think Bournemouth at home are a good outfit. Forest not really impressed me too much in recent weeks, so I'm going to say 2-0 to Bournemouth. Chelsea, I think they just edge it against Wolves at Stamford Bridge. Same with Man United against West Ham. I think they score a quality goal from one of their players, like an individual really good goal. I think Rashford or Garnacho or Bruno could score an absolute screamer. Arsenal and Liverpool, I think Liverpool win that one 2-1. I just think they have the edge, and with like Klopp leaving, I think that's just extra fire under their bellies. I just got a feeling that they'll win that one. I think they'll edge it 2-1. Honestly, I think Darwin Núñez could have a good game. I do think Darwin Núñez could cause that Arsenal defence some real problems. Brentford and Man City, I think Man City win that game, but I do think Brentford score. I think Tony could well score in that one. He's one player that I really want to get in my team, Ivan Toney, but I just have no one I want to sell at the moment for him. So Núñez, I'm not sure if Núñez is fit to start, right? But I think if he doesn't start, he'll come off the bench. He's in full training, so there was a picture of him shared on Twitter yesterday that he's in full training, so I do think he'll feature. Whether or not he starts, I think, is a different story, but I think he'll feature. And if even if he comes off the bench, I think he could cause some problems, like genuinely. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the score. Let's just have a quick look at the chat. My thoughts on the Liverpool double. I don't think it's going to happen based on all the news we've seen. Ben Crennan, I think, put it at less than a 20% chance of happening. Thor Thornton went for Botman as he wanted to keep money in the bank. Also, quick question. Is the thumbnail for this live stream say Gameweek 22 on it? No, it doesn't. That's all right. I was just checking I hadn't messed it up. Thor, I went for Botman as I wanted to keep money in the bank. Fair enough, don't mind that. Freddie suggesting one of the Spurs defenders to be sold. I'll think about it. Alexandru Trippier doesn't want anyone to buy him. I agree, Ben. Trippier is expensive, but 6.7 for a defender I don't think it's not, outrageous. Given that the City game's on Monday, I'm not sure we'll get any real news, just because I don't think anyone knows. If you were in the Man City squad, when do you think Pep would have his pre-game meeting and tell him what the 11 is? Like, I don't think he'll do that until either after the deadline today or tomorrow. So, yeah, I just don't think that they'll even knows. I don't think anyone knows what the Man City team is yet, mate. Basically, that's my thoughts. Thoughts on captain options? Oh, mate, yeah, Simon, that's the real struggle this week. I think there are 5 or 6 players you could genuinely captain this week, and I don't think there's a right answer. One thing I would say with a captain that I like to pick in FPL is I like to pick a captain that takes penalties, which I know Watkins has a fantastic fixture, don't get me wrong, but the fact he's not on penalties kind of puts me off captaining him. I'd rather go for a player that has penalties. So Palmer and Solanke are the two in my team that I'm really in between at the moment. Answer those Núñez fit ones. Good morning, Rai EXO. I've got Gordon, Richarlison, Palmer, Saka, Foden, mid. Got Haaland, Watkins, Solanke up, or need to sub a mid. Blimey. God, that's horrendous. Who would you guys bench on USF 1324's team? Let them know in the chat. I honestly can't decide. I'd probably say Saka, but it pains me to say it. Good morning, Melvin. Good morning, Pete. Yeah, mate. I like the Solanke shout. Start Branthwaite or Gabriel. Oh, that's horrible, isn't it? I'd start Gabriel just because probably got a bit more goal threat. Would you consider Jota as a short-term punt? I don't really like short-term punts, but it depends on your team, really, and your chip strategy as well. If you're planning to play a chip in 25, like a wild card or something, then yeah, go for it. But I don't like bringing in players in FPL for the short term. I feel like if you're making a transfer in FPL, you need to buy a player that you want to keep in your team and hold. That's just my thoughts. But I don't. Yeah, he ain't got a double anymore, so I'm not massive on Jota. I do again. I really like. I'll show you my team. I really like Gordon this week, but I just favour the penalty takers, just because it's just another string to their bow where they could get a goal, even if their team doesn't play well. You can always score if you're taking penalties, and I guess we don't know who the Newcastle penalty taker is because Isak and Wilson are both injured. Those are the two people that would take penalties. So it leaves, obviously, an open door to who wants to take them this week. I've got a feeling it could be Bruno Guimaraes. I just have a feeling that Bruno G will take the pens. That's just my thoughts. I see your questions just popped up as I said it, Ben. That was convenient. I think there's about a 10-second delay, so you'll hear that in 10 seconds' time. Benching Bowen does not feel right. I just don't know. That's the two decisions I've got to make is who do I bench and who do I captain. I'm almost of the right mind to bench Saka. I could bench Saka, Foden, or Bowen this week, and definitely want to start Palmer and Gordon. Trippier taking pens. That's a fair shout, because he is their set piece taker, isn't he? God, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it? I bring in Trippier and he takes penalties. Wow. Right. I'll quickly go through some Draft Hound expected points data, and then I will have a look at some people's teams. I'm conscious a couple of members have already put their IDs in. You'll probably have to, when I go through it, members, you'll probably have to remind me just so scrolling through the chat's a bit of a bit of a nightmare. So once I start it, send me your team IDs. I'll prioritise the members first because that's what you get as being a member, and then we'll look through other people's teams as well. So top goalkeepers: Martinez, Pickford, Petrovic, Dubravka, Leno, Steele, Raya and Edison, Neto and Onana. I've got a big problem because I've got Martinez and Dubravka in my team. Who do you start out of those two? Who do you start? I honestly have no idea. I think if I buy Trippier, I may as well start Martinez just because it reduces the risk if they concede. So it spreads the risk a little bit. Oh God, who would you start out of Martinez and Dubravka? Martinez with Sheffield United away, playing for Villa. Dubravka has got Luton at home, playing for Newcastle. I just have no idea. Freddie, I'll get your team just as we get through these draft hand datas, mate. Defenders, top defender apparently is Estupinian. I'm not sure. I do think Brighton concede in that one. Gabriel's up there as well. The draft hand algorithm absolutely loves Gabriel for his goal threat. It's like him being the second top defender for expected points against Liverpool is questionable for me, but that's what the draft hand algorithm is saying. Cher is up there. No sign of Trippier, which is quite interesting. I think the time I took this screenshot, Trippier was for some reason flagged in draft hand, although I don't think he is flagged. I think he's fit to go. But Cher's up there. Walker, if he starts, Botman, Van Heck, Porro, Zinchenko, Concert, and Colwill are the top defenders. Midfielders, it's a joint one between Gordon and Cole Palmer as top for expected points. Saka and Foden both on 5.5. De Bruyne's up there. Doku, although he's not back to start, this is if he does. Gross, Bernardo Silva, Odegaard, and Elise if he's fit. Forwards, we got Haaland, Watkins, Alvarez. It's a shame to see Solanke so far down the list. I don't agree with Solanke being so far down this list. It might have updated since the time I took the screenshot. So when we have a look at the draft time teams, I'll have a quick reel through the top players. But it is surprising to see no Trippier and TAA in the defenders too. But yeah, those are the top forwards. When you put that all together, it looks like the best captain according to expected points is Haaland. I just think I just think there are too many question marks over his minutes to comfortably captain him. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Gordon, Palmer, Watkins and Alvarez are the other top players. Okay, Trippier's overtaken. What we'll do then, I'll quickly look at the clean sheet odds and we'll go through the actual Draft Time website as it is now. So those are the clean sheet odds. Teams above 30%, who usually I back to keep a clean sheet. Man City, Brighton, Newcastle, Villa, Chelsea, Bournemouth, Man United, Fulham. And then those are the teams below 30. I'd say Arsenal, Arsenal and Tottenham I'd probably consider starting their defenders from. But everyone under that, probably not. All right, I'll quickly log into Draft Time, lads. Here we go. So here are the updated expected points numbers. Trippier up there on 6.1. I'll leave that on screen for 30 seconds, and then we'll have a look at Freddie Ebbing's team. Right, Freddie's team. So I'm conscious I've already seen a lot of IDs in there, and it's going to be really hard for me to work out who was first in. So I'll do the members first, as always, but from this point onwards, I'll put it in the chat now. From that chat message onwards, if you put your ID in, then I can prioritize people. It's really hard otherwise to go through the chat. Sorry to make some of you go through it twice. So we'll have a look at Freddie's now. I'll get to the chat after looking at Freddie's team. 796 7523. Oh God, it's horrible, isn't it? This week, that's such a nice team. I do think I would bench Bowen in this team. I do think I'd bench Bowen, and I would probably consider doing Konza to Trippier. We could do Gabriel to Trippier as well and start Trent. I mean, may as well start Trent. Potentially Gabriel to Trippier. I guess which of those defenders is your least favourite? Well, I'd probably buy Trippier. That's how I'd go with that team, Freddie, I think. Victor was up next. If any of the other members, by the way, have typed their IDs in after my message, I will get to their team first as well. Victor already did Bowen to KDB. Oh, wow, fair play. So we'll imagine that we can probably do it, can't we? That's a nice team, that. Not sure to start Sterling or so. I would start Solanke. 100% start Solanke. I mean, I wouldn't. I wouldn't nail on that Sterling is going to start. I think with Nkunku being back, he could start instead of Sterling. And I think Solanke is such a much better option than Sterling. I'd say Sterling Foden or Sterling Saka is probably a more difficult decision. Right. I'll cut off. I'll cut off the team reviews here just because there's already so many to look at. I was saying it in previous streams, but I don't know about you guys, but by looking at loads of different FPL teams, I've got to do Ben's first as he's a member. But when I do like 10 or so teams in a row, they all start merging into one and looking the same, and I don't feel like I can properly think out what to do. So I usually like to take a little break. crikey. I think you've got an even harder decision to make this week than I do, Ben. Like you are either in. You could make 2 frees, you can make 1 free, you could burn the transfer, you could do anything with this team. It's so difficult. I mean, I guess the question for you, Ben, is there anyone in this team that you don't feel comfortable owning? Because you probably could do Salah to Gordon and then one of your strikers to Haaland. But yeah, that's why I'm saying you could easily just burn the transfer because, will Haaland outscore Alvarez? That's the question. Like, I've never had Alvarez, which is why it was quite easy for me to get Haaland in. But I completely agree with you. Unfortunately, he's only got 1.3 in the bank, Pete, so he can't get him in. You'll probably have to sacrifice Salah. Trippier the only upside pick, and you can't get to him easily either, can you? You have to sell Trent to get to Trippier. I would agree with you. I think I would sell Salah too. It's all right, Pete. No worries at all. I think I'd sell Salah too. God, it'd be a nightmare, wouldn't it, if Salah's back next week? Got Burnley. But Salah to Gordon, I think, does make sense. Yeah, I think if you just do Salah to Gordon this week, it sets up your team nicely for future game weeks. You can easily get to Haaland for the double. And I would say if you don't have Haaland this week, it's not the end of the world because your 3 forwards have fantastic fixtures. So Haaland could then come in for Watkins next week when he's got Man United. And then you've got Solanke, who's got a potential double in 28 or 29. Then you've got Watkins, not got Watkins anymore. You've got Haaland back in. But you need to sell him for Alvarez, don't you? Yeah, that's fine. I mean, that's getting you ready for the double. Personally, I would drop Foden over Saka, I think. It sounds disgusting saying that, doesn't it? But personally, I think I'd drop... I think I'd drop Foden over Saka there. So I would... Let's just see how that looks. So if we do Salah to Gordon... I don't think there is going to be a Liverpool double now. Doesn't look like it. If we do Salah to Gordon, good grief, bench Foden, who inevitably scores a hat-trick. You've got to start Trent, I think, over Konza. And then next week, or whenever you feel comfortable, you can do Alvarez to Haaland. I think that's the way to go, mate. Because I would say, yes, not having Salah is risky, but realistically, for the next 3 weeks, I don't think you would want to captain him. If he was back maybe for next week, yes, potentially. But then with the Man City double, I think it's not not a long-term sell, but at least for the next 3 game weeks, I think you can survive without Salah, even if he comes back from injury, right? And then by the time those 3 game weeks pass, your team should be nicely set up for doubles. And he blanks in 26, so you don't need to worry about that. So for the next 4 game weeks, you can go without Salah. And by the time you want him back and he's back fit, you'll probably have a couple of free transfers to deal with it. I guess the only other thing is, do you want to sell a Tottenham defender? Do you want to sell Pedro Porro ahead of his blank? I guess that's another question. I probably wouldn't, though. I hate benching headaches, though, man. I really hate benching headaches. Sorry that it's not clear cut, Ben. I don't think there is a one size fits all, to be honest. I'm personally favouring Palmer captain. We spoke in the chat last night, didn't we? I think you could easily go Solanke, but I wouldn't. Porro and Richarlison. I think Richarlison could go when Son's back, but right now he's in really good form. Probably takes the pens for Spurs as well. I wouldn't be selling him. I'm sorry that there's no like clear-cut answers, Ben, but I think that's all the thoughts I can give on your team for now. I'm going to have a look through the ones that people have put in the chat. Priyansh was up there, so we'll have a look at yours, mate. By the way, anyone submitting IDs now, I cut them off at just after Mian G Gaming at the top of the chat. But if you've just joined the stream, you won't be able to see that. So this is Priyansh's team, 53k overall, doing really well. Got one free transfer. I would probably do Archer to Haaland and bench Bowen. That's probably the way I'd play it, mate. Consider starting Trent over Gabriel as well, because I guess that's a question, right? With how good Connor Bradley has been, I put it in one of my videos this week in my Gameweek 23 thoughts video. But with Connor Bradley playing so well, I definitely think Trent starts against Arsenal. I think Klopp it would be a big risk to leave him out. But where does he play? Do we think Trent could play in the midfield with Connor Bradley playing so well at right back? Could Trent just slot into the midfield? And does that make him a better FPL option? I don't know. But I would play him over Gabriel, I think. Melvin Thomason. Another lovely team. I probably wouldn't do anything with this. Haaland captain, it's saying I probably wouldn't captain, like I said, I probably wouldn't captain Haaland. I still think Palmer or Solanke is the way to go. Although I will probably have a look at other FPL YouTubers to see who they're captaining and then bottle it. But right now, I'm not massive on Haaland captain. Don't know what you guys think, but I think this team's really nice, Melvin, and I probably wouldn't do anything to it. I think you can leave it for another week. Obviously, you could do Douglas Luiz to Gordon. You could do that. I guess. Douglas Luiz to Gordon is the way to go. I'd probably start Bowen over Douglas Luiz regardless. Even though the expected points are lower, I think I'd start Douglas Luiz over Bowen. And then I'd consider Douglas Luiz to Gordon. But then that does create a bit of a benching headache for you. Mian G Gaming. 276 0784. I like the Vicario in goal shout. He's quite expensive, but I do like that. I definitely don't think you need to make a transfer. Unless you want to you can't afford Haaland in one move. I'd probably roll this week because you will need 2 free transfers to bring Haaland in for the double. So I probably roll just because, yeah, you need 2 frees to bring Haaland in. I'd probably start Trent, and I would probably start Bowen over Saliba. And that's the team I would go with if I was you. Probably captaining Palmer of that lot. That's the team I'd go with, mate. And I don't see any need to make a transfer. I think that team's just fine. And then you'll have 2 frees next week to work out how to bring in Haaland. And I'd suggest could potentially do it for Richarlison if he blanks. Matthias Kangashka. It's another really nice team. He's got enough cash in the bank to bring in Haaland. I would probably do Mubama to Haaland and bench Garnacho this week. 16.5 million in the bank. That's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I'd do Mubama to Haaland, I think, mate. And if you're still in the stream, hopefully you are. Haaland's price rising and falling has been ridiculous, hasn't it? He's gone up in price. How's that happened? I think I'd do that. Go with this team. Probably put Garnacho first on my bench and go with that. I think that's how I'd go. Ashton. Hopefully that helps you, pal. It's another team that I wouldn't touch. 1-3, already got Haaland. I like it. I like it. Probably stick Bowen first on my bench, Udogie second on my bench. But I mean, I'd probably start Bowen over Gross. I think Bowen's a bit more exciting than Gross. This is probably how I'd line up. Yeah. Captaincy, oh man. I don't feel qualified to talk about a captain because I think the options are equal. I don't know. Maybe I'm a fence sitter and a bottler. I don't really care. I just don't think there's an outstanding captain this week. There just isn't one to me. Was that Ashton's team? MH Football? The team's just called Limbs. Hopefully there's limbs for you this week, mate. I'd definitely start Romero over Gomez. Good score this week, to be fair. I'd start Bowen over Douglas Luiz. And I would roll the other transfer. Yeah, I don't see any need to make a transfer to this team, mate. I'd just roll. Hugo Hansen was next. Sorry, I'm not reading the chat. I'm just going through people's teams. I imagine people are typing stuff in the chat, but I'm just scrolled up looking at people's teams after I said, send me your teams. Hugo Hansen, I would start Bowen over Douglas Luiz. Oh, you got 2 frees. Bloody hell. I would probably do Darwin to Haaland at this point. I'd probably do Darwin to Haaland at this point. Yeah, Darwin to Haaland. That's the move I'd make. Already done Mianji Gaming, FPL VAS, 318935. Vasilios. I just wouldn't do anything with this team. Start Trent over Gabriel. This is a really, really nice team, mate. There's just nothing you need to do with it. And then you've got 2 frees next week to deal with the Haaland problem, I reckon. Because you want to get Haaland in, right? And you've only got 0.8 in the bank. And with 2 frees next week, you can get rid of Salah and then bring in Haaland. That would enable it, wouldn't it? We did a cut off of team reviews just at the top of the chat, I'm afraid. If you want to find your FPL ID, I can help you with that. So if you go, here we go. You got to do it on a browser. You can't do it in the app. Hopefully it's not lagging. If you go on points. Double game week 25 is confirmed, is it? That'd be an absolute nightmare if that is. If you go on your points and then your URL will have your FPL ID in it. I'm going to check. I'm going to check Twitter. I'm checking now, boys. Oh, wow. They've confirmed it. Yeah, it's been confirmed. Double game week 25. That is an absolute spanner in the works, isn't it? Holy moly. Wow, wow, wow. Well, I mean, what do you do? Don't sell Salah, no. Wow. Wow. That's some crazy news. I feel for those people on a different time zone. Does that change what I do with my team now? Christ. MU foot skills, stop spamming your ID, mate. I said, I know you're about to sleep, but I said I've stopped doing the team reviews now. I can't just accommodate for, I'm afraid it doesn't work like that. I wouldn't sell Darwin Núñez now either. I wouldn't sell Saka for Foden. Now we need Salah and Haaland, we do. I appreciate that, mate. I appreciate you subscribing, but can't just accommodate for one person. If you remember, I would. That's how the membership works. Well, I need to play around with my own team in Draft Hand at the moment. I will do that. I will do that, Ben. Don't worry. Just got to find it out the best way of getting to Salah. So if that really interrupts my plans. Now, if Salah missed the double game week, that'd be an absolute fucking nightmare. It would. If I still want to do my Trippier move today, which it's not even suggesting, which is mad. If we get Trippier in here, 1.6 short, that's fine. Bloody hell. Bloody hell. Don't know about you guys, but buying Trent this week fills me with discomfort against Liverpool. I just don't think I can do it. Unless I just do Saliba to Trent. I really want to get Trippier. Is Trent a smart transfer in ahead of playing Arsenal? Best time to bring Salah back in is when he's back fit. That doesn't matter about price rise. Don't get tied up on price rises. Just bring him back when he's fit. Jota's a good option, but I can't justify bringing him in. Played 67 minutes against Chelsea as well. His minutes just do not fill me with excitement. I think I'm still going to go for Trippier. His minutes just don't fill me with excitement. There's his minutes across the season, if you can see that. 67 with no Salah. 90, fair enough. 26, 53, 83, 65, 57. Played a full 90 there. 23, 9, 55, 25. The minutes aren't amazing for Jota. I'm half tempted, this might be controversial, I'm half tempted to not be tripled up. I'm half tempted to be doubled up on Man City and Liverpool and then have Tony. So I think for me, the way to play that double game week is to double up on Man City and Liverpool, because just can't tell you who's nailed. I think you're getting carried away with Jota, in my opinion, Ben. Because when Salah's back, that means Liverpool have 5 players for the 3 positions, right? I think it is, Isaac. I personally think you can get away with that without getting too carried away. The thing for me, Victor, if I bring in Trippier still, it makes it quite hard to get back to Salah. And he is admittedly someone you want for the double. The annoying, because the reason I say it's probably better to only be doubled up, and yes, you probably take a points hit in game week 25 alone, but there's a blank straight after, Liverpool blank straight after, so you're going to force your way into 3 Liverpool players only for them to blank in game week 26. It just doesn't feel right. So I personally, I reckon you could probably triple up on City because they don't blank in 26. If you want a triple City, I think that makes sense. Although I couldn't tell you 3 City players I think that will play all the games. Probably double up on Liverpool's the way to go, just because I just want Salah and Trent, I think, Ben. I don't want anyone else outside of that. And then get Tony. Salah and Trent are the 2, Ben. It has to be. And then just get Tony. I think that's the way I'd do it. Because if you bought Jota, he'd just get... I definitely wouldn't have 0 Liverpool, because their double is really good. It's Brentford and Luton, so it is a good double. You just have to be prepared to immediately bench them. And I think, yeah, Salah, there's no point rushing him in, but I think you need to be flexible about him, because when is game week 25? So game week 25 is 2 weeks away. I just think you need to be flexible about him, but I don't think you need to force him in. This guy is crazy, isn't it? Imagine if you lived in Australia, you've done your transfers, and then you go to bed. I've realised I've got that technically wrong. I think that's a very good point. I don't know if Salah will be back, and I think you can probably hedge that he will, and then just deal with it when the time comes. So can I? I'm just gonna see if I can find a way to get Trent Trippier. If I go for Trent, go for Trippier. I can't get them both in like that, but that's okay. Oliver Whitman. Sorry about that, mate. I've got flipping 4 Newcastle players if I do that. I don't think I can get Trippier this week then. That's really annoying. Because I've also got 2 Spurs. Yeah, I can't do Saliba to Trippier this week. God, that's annoying. I think I'm going to have to do Saliba to Trent, aren't I? Or could I... I still really want to get Trippier this week. Jeez, it's hard, isn't it? It's bloody hard. I do really want Trippier. I can't lie, I really want Trippier. I think 4 players for the double is alright because of the blank in 26. I feel like you've got to be really clever about your thinking because it affects chip strategy as well. So we'll just go on old Krellin's at the second. We'll go on the old Krellin planner. I could do Porro to Trippier, but I like Porro this week. And I can't because I've already got 3 Newcastle players. Look, got Dubravka, Lascelles, and Gordon. So I have to do Lascelles to Trippier, which is annoying. I can't afford Trippier and Trent in. If I get Trent in, I could get Botman. But then it kind of defeats the point, doesn't it? What was I looking at? The fixtures. Right. So that's all confirmed in 25 now, right? So my team, I think I may as well go free hit 26 then, by the looks of it. God, 29 is going to be a pain as well. Christ on a bike, 29 is going to be painful. But looking at my team, I'm thinking free hit in 26 is probably going to be needed. Sorry for the silence and all that. It's bloody hard, isn't it? Hopefully my thinking is kind of helping you as well. But my thoughts on a double game week is I like it, but it's so complicated to cover. Bench Foden, Josh. I prefer Tony to Foden, I think. I'm a big Tony fan, personally. I'm a bit of a Tony fanboy. I'm just going to try something. I can do that. Yeah, I'm a big penalty man in FPL, I must say. Proper benching headaches. Too right, mate. Absolutely good and proper. Who's bench? Richarlison, Saka, Palmer, Watkins. FPL Josh, happy birthday for Thursday, and I don't blame you. Right, here's an idea. So we do Lascelles to Trippier this week. Next week I do Porro and Bowen to Trent, and it is disgusting, but I could get Chukwuemeka because he is so cheap. All right, I'll do that, and then I got 1.7, and so I can't even get to. If I do that, I can't get to Salah very easily. I'm not sure, James. It really is a pain with the Liverpool double. It's such a pain. Nah, Douglas Luiz captain, no, not for me. There's not enough upside to him. Well, he's only scoring really penalties, mate. I think you may as well go for Solanke or Palmer, who score more from open play and take penalties. Don't mind Golden Cap. I'm not massive on it because he doesn't take penalties. I guess I should probably keep Saliba because he doesn't blank in 26. Hang on. If I do... Can I do Porro? Oh, I can't quite get to him. And I've got 4 Liverpool Newcastle players. Do Newcastle play in 29? Are they likely to blank? Yeah, they are. But I'm going to free hit in 29, I think. No, I don't. Don't think I should. I think I should just get. I'm half tempted to just get Trippier this week, and then I can do something. I could probably do Porro to Trent, and then someone in for Bowen. Or I could sell. God, pains me. I could sell Saka. Good morning, Lee Fisher. What the hell has happened here? Don't mind Richie as captain. Don't think he's the best, but I don't mind him. Lee, I already have Haaland, thankfully. Yeah, what about if I... Because I could just go Chukwuemeka. It's horrible. It feels like a disgusting transfer. Then that's 24, but then 25 I've got... What's the info? That's the question, isn't it, Alexandru? How do I get to Salah? Or maybe, rather than do Trippier, get Botman. Yeah. Right, I'm going to reset. So if I buy Botman for Lascelles this week, it's not Trippier. Don't get me wrong. But if I buy Botman, that then leaves me enough to go Porro to Trent in one move next week. I'll have another 2 frees for then. And then there must be a way that I can get to Salah in 2 moves, right? 3.9. No, can't. We don't know, yeah, man, and that's the problem. I feel like you need to be flexible to it. I feel like you need to have a degree of flexibility for it. But is he... I don't understand that, Lewis. There are Cash to Trippier, Saka to Jota, Haaland to Alvarez. You're selling Haaland for Alvarez? I don't rate that, mate. Yeah, I don't think Salah is essential for that double, you know. I think you could captain Haaland and then cover it with other Liverpool players. If I just go back to Saka, just go Jota or someone, couldn't you? Yeah, I don't mind that, Lewis Smith. Arsenal don't blank in 26, do they? They got Newcastle. Lewis to Ferrari for a -4. That's the move of the week, that, isn't it? Bloody hell. It's so hard. Christ. Hugo, I don't understand your question. I think double game week 25 is wrapped up now. There are only 2 teams that can double. I would bench Gabriel and Konsa. Botman is more nailed. Yep. We know that, Lee. That's unfortunately what I'm trying to deal with at the moment. No given game week, mate. So let's just analyze the news we have on Salah. So that's a good point from Simon Ashby. So Mo Salah plays twice. He's got a double in 25, and then they have a few days from that until the League Cup final, coming off the back of an injury. That's a good point. I'm just going to do a tweet. Sorry for my silence, lads. And ladies. I think it is too risky with Salah, you know? I think it is. I think maybe I just bring Trippier in this week. Stick to the plan. Hello, Cortex. Hello, mate. I'm just checking Twitter to see what other people are doing. Yeah, but how much more, Bilal? I wouldn't say. I think if I had Salah now, I'd probably try not to sell him. Praz bought Trippier, and then he's going back to TAA next week. I think I just got to bring in Trent, haven't I? Can I afford that? No, I can't. I think I've got to do. I'm just not massive on bringing Trent in ahead of Arsenal when I could buy Trippier for Luton. That's a good thing, Cortex. I'm happy to get you through your leg day, bro. Mate, I would say deciding on who to transfer into my team is worse than a leg day currently. Who would you bring in between Botman and Udogie? Definitely Botman, because Udogie blanks in game week 26 and Botman doesn't. I gotta say, though, I don't mind Lascelles to Botman. I guess Trent isn't a must for this week is my only point. And if I did Lascelles to Botman, I could then afford Porro to Trent. Next week. Then that sets my team up quite nicely. And then I could also do Bowen to Jota. Set up for 25. Means I won't have Salah. I'm feeling bringing in Botman. It's boring. It's not that exciting. Don't get me wrong. But I don't mind bringing in Botman this week for my team. Trippier's lovely. Trippier, I would love Trippier, but I just don't think I can justify it with needing to bring Trent in. Where's Trent for expected points? He's not even here. Broken. Botman's up there, look. Yeah. I think Trent is definitely a must-have for the double. I think I could do Botman in this week with my team. So if I do Lascelles to Botman, start Botman over Saliba. I've got Saliba in for 26, even though he plays Newcastle. Not great. And then blank game week 26, I can relatively easily survive, I think. No, Elise's got a hamstring injury, mate. I think I'm going to do Lascelles to Botman. I think it makes sense. I actually prefer Trent as an option for the double ahead of Salah. I really do. I don't mind it. Robert, it depends, mate. I've Best midfielder under 6.4 that's not Gordon or Palmer. Neto. Probably say Neto. I think I'm going to do... Yeah, I'm going to be really boring. I'm going to do Lascelles to Botman. And then start Botman, Porro, Doggy, bench Bowen, 3.3 in the bank. I can do Porro to Trent next week ahead of Burnley. And then I've got 0.5 in the bank, which should allow me to do Bowen to Jota as well next week, unless I'm priced out of it. And then I'll just do Saka to Jota. And then I've got a free transfer in 25 to do Watkins to Tony. I think that's the way to go, isn't it, for my team? It's not as exciting as bringing in Trippier. Let's just check Botman's minutes. He's been starting in fine, hasn't he? Yeah. Be just my luck that Botman doesn't start. Right. I think that's my transfers decided. I'm going to bring in Botman. I need to keep Charlie Taylor. No, I prefer Botman, Alexandru. I prefer Botman. There's my team. I'm really tempted to do that now. I'm really tempted to go Haaland. I'm going to do that. No, not confident. I'm not confident Haaland starts. Bloody hell. That was one of the... I think that was well thought out from me, not to toot my own horn, but I could have gone for Trippier, but save 2 million, get Botman. Minef, if you see my team, your question is answered. Don't mind it, Victor, if it works for you. I would say, unless you've already played your wild card, one thing to consider, and I've said it in my chip strategy videos and features I've done on a chip strategy, I really like a bench boost late on in the season, so like game week 34 or 37, because if you've got a wild card, you can play your wild card just before the bench boost, pick 15 players that start in double for the double game weeks, and then hit the bench boost for the double, and then you get 30 fixtures from 15 players. And I think those two chips in combination to set up that bench boost is the most powerful combination of chips you can play in FPL. Who have Tottenham got next week? You got a good thing. You got Brighton, haven't they? Who have Arsenal got? Arsenal have West Ham. Fair enough. That's my thinking on the wild card and bench boost. Right, I'm gonna simmer for a few minutes, and then I'll put in the chat team IDs again, and I'll do 10 or so team reviews. But my brain is a little bit fried. Just give my brain a 5-minute break of looking at teams, and then I'll do another round of team review. So don't send in your IDs yet. I'll put in the chat. Send in your FPL IDs from here, and then I'll cut it off at about 10, and then I'll have a look at 10 or so people's teams. I'm just going to tweet my team to... Oh, I've got rid of Fantasy Premier League. Sorry, I'm not looking at the camera because I need to do the screenshot. I wouldn't take a hit to do Bowen to KDB. Not this week. I don't think it's worth it. I think Bowen could well score this week. Just tweeting out my team a sec, lads. Also, these tough FPL decisions are why we play this game. Oh, I need to make that shorter. I don't have a single Liverpool player at the moment. I agree, Victor. I agree, but I think just long term for my team, I think it makes sense to go for Botman. Because but purely, if I bring in Trippier, I feel like I'm just thinking about potential upside in one game week. And saying Trippier takes penalty, I completely get it. But I think there's a lot of what ifs that go into that. If Trippier was confirmed to be on penalties this week, I think I'd captain him and I'd bring him in for that reason. But with everything we know, I think it's too much of a what if. Start Martinelli or Gross? I would start Martinelli. Up against Bradley or Trent, who aren't the strongest defensively, I reckon he could get in behind and score. Jacob Murphy, maybe. Let's see what FPL reviewers say. Start Trent or Walker? I think I'd start Trent. Just because I'm pretty sure Trent plays, still not sure about Walker. So whatever FPL reviews says, Eze is possibly, whatever FPL review says about my transfer, I think I've done the right thing bringing in Botman. Start Trent or Walker? Yeah, Trent. Why Haaland and not Solanke? What's that? Who are you talking to there? I'm captaining Palmer at the moment. So FPL reviews got Haaland top. Let's see what it's saying for transfer solver. Lascelles and Bowen to Doty and De Bruyne is what it say. Yeah, Botman, there you go. I've done the FPL review suggested transfer. Tell you what, you know. Bowen to De Bruyne. Let's just see if I can get De Bruyne in. Might as for double game week 25 now, I think De Bruyne is a really good option. Let's see. And see. De Bruyne. Where is he? There he is. How do I get to De Bruyne? Can I own both De Bruyne and Trent? I think I can. And then Bowen can go down to someone. Yeah, I can. But then I've got... Oh, no, I don't want to sell him. I want to sell him. I want to restore him. Trent in for Porro next week. De Bruyne. And then 6.2 to buy mid. I could just get Chukwuemeka because he's dirt cheap. And I got 2 million here. Yeah, I could. There's a lot of ways that I could play it now. I guess the question is, do we... Because I could, with my extra transfer, I could get De Bruyne in as well over over Bowen. And then is De Bruyne worth starting over Saka? Probably is. I should probably wait though. It feels like a bit of a luxury. Feels like a bit of a luxury. The AI team has gone Palmer captain. That's a question for the chat, actually. There's just so much going on, isn't there? Who would you captain? Sorry, no. Who is the best option with game week 25 and a blank in 26 for Liverpool in mind? Would you get Kevin De Bruyne or Diogo Jota? I think it's worth getting Kevin De Bruyne over Diogo Jota. I could even just get Connor Bradley and Trent for the double for Liverpool. Do you think, like Jota or Kevin De Bruyne, considering that Jota blanks in 26 and De Bruyne doesn't, I think KDB is clear. I think KDB is clear as Salah for game week 25, just because he doesn't blank in 26. I'm gonna hold off on the KDB transfer this week because I think it's a luxury and he could get anything could happen this game week, right? I agree he probably won't start both, but then I don't think you can say Jota will either. And I do feel like whatever happens, whether he starts or not, De Bruyne probably gets minutes. And he doesn't blank in game week 26 when I think he probably plays. So I'm not, with Salah being back as well, I'm not sure you can say Salah plays both. I'm not sure any of those Liverpool forwards are actually nailed to play both games of the double because they've got the League Cup final weekend after. And Salah's just coming back from injury, right? I'm not gonna tweet that because I'm not sure I fully believe in it. I'm tempted to go Haaland, you know. No, Fulham bro, yeah. Don't think so. I don't think it's worth it. Ceiling is another one. God. God. Right, I'm going to help a few of you out. I'll do 5 team reviews from that message. So send in your ID and I'll do 5 team reviews from that message. Pupos. Obviously, I'll prioritise members. Any members want to send in their team, I'll do it too. Right. So Bapupos. With this team, I would consider nothing. I would roll. I would do a big fat roll with this team, mate. I think it's absolutely fine for this game week, and I wouldn't do anything. I think your captaincy, go with your gut. But honestly, this team is fine. There's nothing major I would do with it. I think it's absolutely fine. I really think it's okay. Just roll. You got 1 free, just roll it. Deal with the Liverpool double. They've got Arsenal as their fixture, so buying Liverpool assets is not really the way to go, in my opinion, this week. Which is why I bought Botman. Right, Safwan. Probably start Trent over Konza. 2 frees. 1 million in the bank. Haaland in for Alvarez, Gordon in for Salah. Fine. Then yeah, that's your team sorted then. I've not got really any advice to offer you, to be honest, if that's what you've done. I don't get them protected points either. I personally think he'll do better than that. I agree. Malte Kurth. Let's have a look at his team. I'd start Bowen over Douglas Luiz. 100%. Team is really nice. I would consider doing what I did and doing Lascelles to Botman. Starting Botman over Saliba. I would consider doing that. And then you've got 2 frees next week to deal with getting Haaland back in. Or you could do Douglas. Yeah, I'd do Lascelles to Botman and start Botman over Saliba. I think that's what I'd do there. Abby. Well, you said you went early, so you might have done something already. 6, 4, 8. I play Tony every time. Much better, in my opinion. Right, Abby. Lovely team. 2 frees. I would do Gross to Gordon. Yeah, do Gross to Gordon. I think that's fine. Gross to Gordon, then deal with your Liverpool players next week, in my opinion. But I think you can do Gross to Gordon this week. That's what I'd do. Cannon fodder. 12419. Meet you at the gay bar. That's a good team name. That's all right, mate. I would do Archer to Haaland. Oh, you can't do it. Or you can. Archer to Haaland. Son to... Get anyone. Son to a cheap midfielder that you like and get Archer to Haaland. That's what I'd do. Son to a cheap midfielder that you like. I think you can get rid of Son at this point. Go 3 at the back. Archer to Haaland. That's what I'd do. I'd consider... I think you might be able to do Son to Jota. Oh, why is it? Searching defenders. I think you might be able to do Son to Jota. And then Archer to Haaland. No, you can't. You can't quite afford that. Jota to 4 cheap midfielder. Archer to Haaland. That's what I do. Consider Chukwuemeka. Just because he's dirt cheap. Son to Garnacho. There you go. Don't mind it. Oh, blimey. What a week. Yeah, it could work, cannon fodder. Are most of the other streamers going Haaland, are they? I'm going to have a quick look at other streamers now. I do think Trippier's a really... He ticks the boxes for your big differential captain, Alexandra, I got to say. Do. Hopefully we get can still see expected points. Can anyone remember who was top? What is this thing? Gameweek 22. Who was higher out of Foden and Bowen? Foden just a bit higher. I think Trippier is best for you, Alexandru. I think of all the weeks to do a differential captain, why not do it this week when Haaland is still a bit of a minutes doubt? Probably Jota, but Solanke's equally as good because it depends what your chip strategy is ultimately. If you're free hitting in 26, then Jota. If you're not, could well say Solanke. Gross to Gordon, yeah, I like it. You don't have to sell, get Haaland necessarily this week. I'm probably going to go Haaland captain now. Fuck it. Haaland captain it is. Palmer, he takes pens. I think Palmer's the stronger captain to Gordon. He takes the pens. My goalkeeper situation is hardcore, isn't it? I think I'm happy with it because Luton are scoring goals, aren't they? And I think it makes sense to spread the risk. Because if Newcastle concede, I'm in trouble. So yeah, I think it makes sense to spread the risk. I would bench Bernardo of that lot. I think he's the least explosive, the least likely to score. I don't think that's too big a benching headache. I would bench Bernardo. Is there a chance Alvarez starts instead of KDB? I don't know. I don't reckon so. Exactly, Victor. They're really direct. I think they could do all right. I'm just going to make a note a second because I've already got an idea for what I want to talk about in my video tonight. Victor. Let's see what FPL Raptors doing with this team as well. That's Raptors team. He's capping Haaland for what it's worth. Focal. So Harry, Let's Talk FPL, and Raptor are all on Haaland. So is Focal. Focal's benching Bowen as well. No one has the same benching headache dilemma decision that I do. I've got quite the headache. Goalkeeper is a headache, and Bowen v Foden is a headache. But yeah, I feel like Haaland captain's worth it this week, isn't he? I'm really happy with the transfer that I made this week. I think Lascelles to Botman makes really good sense. I'm really happy with that transfer. And then next week, I've got 2 frees again. Loads of cash in the bank. I can get Trent back for Porro, or if I want. I'm really happy with the moves that I've made there. And then, yeah, I get Trent in for Porro, roll an additional transfer. I could get Tony. Billy G, I have the same issue. I don't know why you asked that question, because you can quite easily see my team right now. Victor is going to the dark side. Bench Saka, Trent, or Foden. Trent. Saka's on penalties. Foden's got a good fixture. Trent probably concedes today. He's probably, in my opinion, got a 30% chance of an attack in return. Probably bench Trent at that lot. Bloody hell. Jesse Lingard going to FC Seoul. Dan, I really like it. I bought Botman in too. And bought a Haaland in last week. So I really like it, mate. Good moves in my opinion. I think Solanke's a good triple captain as well. Dan, we played Leeds last night. Lost 1-0. Got played off the park. It could have been 8 or 9. We thankfully only lost 1. Victor, because the blank game week in 29 for the FA Cup fifth round fixtures? They will be rescheduled in either game week 34 or 37. I'm on Haaland, Dan. I don't mind Watkins. I personally prefer penalty takers to Watkins. Now, Watkins, if he was on penalties, I would captain him. 100% would captain him if he was on pens. But with him not being on penalties, I think you can do better. Alexandru's going Trippier. If you have Trippier, I like him. Matthew, didn't you have 2 free transfers when I looked at your team? I think I suggested you buy Gordon, didn't I? Yeah, there you go. There you go, Lee. Lee said it. 6th round, my bad. You see that? That's funny. Fair enough, Matthew. If you've not got a move you're happy with, save the transfer. I'd always say if you're not sure about making a transfer, don't do it. You're best off saving it. I'm actually like, is Alisson the worst shout in the world for game week 25? Who knows? I agree, but the Brighton Crystal Palace game is a derby, and it always, regardless of who plays for each team, both teams get right up for it and it ends 1-1. So if we just look at latest results, right? 1-1. The last one was 1-1. To go to recently. Look at that. Look at that. 1-1, 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 1-1, 1-1, 1-1, 1-0, 1-1. It ends 1-1. Like, Premier League history, that game is nailed on 1-1. Just saying. Oh, yeah. If you're enjoying this, I didn't even ask people for likes. Yeah, if you're enjoying the stream, please leave me a like rating. I'd really appreciate that. We've had 1,000 people tune in today. That's incredible. I think that's the most I've ever had on a deadline stream. It goes without saying, thank you, members. You've been really helpful to other people in the chat as well, so I appreciate all of you. It's nice to see everyone helping each other. And yeah, next week, for anyone that's not a member already and maybe is considering it, next week I will do... Deciding whether to do it 15 minutes or half an hour. It depends, I guess. Let's see what time the deadline is, just for a bit of planning. Deadline next week is Saturday at 11. So, yeah. I could do a members-only stream for 15 minutes before. So, just me and, well, I think we've got 5 members now. So, thank you, everyone, of course, that's a member. If you want to join as a member and be part of like 5 or 6 in the chat to chat to me for a quarter of an hour before everything kicks off, I'm happy. I'll do that. I'll do a 15-minute members-only deadline stream. It depends who over. I think start Porro, yeah. He's got a lot of attacking threat. I like Porro. And Brighton are all over the place at the moment. The stocks are going up. Absolutely, Victor. I can't remember how much it is to be a member, but I selected either the cheapest or the second cheapest option. So I'm not going to charge you like £10 a month to be a member just to get an early stream. That feels a bit unreasonable. I'm thinking of doing like levels, but I'm new to this, so well, I'm saying not new. I'm new to like monetizing YouTube, right? So what I don't want to do is like not scam people, but rip people off. So I'm happy to just charge a low price and give people some nice benefits. And then if I do a tier system, I just got to work out like what benefits are actually worth the money. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, right? Yeah, Porro's got really good goal threat as well. If we just look at his stats, you know, expected goal involvement. Look at that. So 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, basically 0.5, 0.6, 0.6, 0.6, 0.4, 0.4, 0.4. Some of the games he's really good for attacking threat. So yeah, exactly, Victor. Hopefully you guys. I certainly appreciate your support, and I try and give you something back in return. I'm just going to check those messages a second. You're going to look at the clean sheet odds for a minute while I look at messages. Right, I'm going to log in. I'm going to go back to that screen, actually. I'm just going to log into Fan Team quickly, because I think I need to do something with my fan team. It's lucky I didn't actually make a transfer last week, I must say. Ooh, sorry, I knocked my mic then. I'm looking at myself. I just got my mouth open, looking at the screen. I am a bit gormless, aren't I? Isak's definitely going. No, get rid of him. I don't want him. I want Ireland. And probably want to get rid of Gross too. Can I get De Bruyne? I can. Let's get De Bruyne. That. Haaland, captain, please. Yes, thank you. Yeah, Palmer can be my vice. Some good transfers there, I reckon. I might do. I'll do cash for Dunk as well. I think it makes sense. Bowen or Garnacho on the bench? Garnacho. I always think Bowen's better, personally. Right, so there's that. I think I'm going to have to make very similar swaps. I've got Nunes here. That's painful. Probably going to have to sell Solanke. Good grief. Am I going to? Probably going to have to sell Solanke here. Gross to De Bruyne. Got to be done. Then, can I afford to do that? Yes, I can. Do you know what? I think it makes sense to still sell Nunes, even though he's got a double in 25. Can I do that? Can I sell Nunes? God, I want to buy Haaland back so badly. Fuck it. Sell Nunes. I'd start Estupinian, I reckon. Right, those are my fan teams sorted. Lovely jubbly. All right, we'll just go on Sky a sec. Make sure I'm set in Sky. Man City don't play until Monday, so I don't need to worry about Haaland until then. And I think I sell Watkins for Haaland at that point. Roger, I think that's looking nice. So we'll just leave it as it is. I don't need to do anything with these teams. Leave that. Captains, Watkins, Solanke, Rodri for now. And then we'll do Watkins to Haaland if he starts on Monday. Gosh, happy days. Ooh, it's getting close now, isn't it? See what the world of Twitter's saying. We're going to get some leaks that Haaland doesn't start now, aren't we? Yeah, apologies, Malte. It's just the time difference. I'm in the UK. That's just what it is for me. Was Dan Burn cheaper than Botman, was he? Was he 4.4? Oh well. I do think Botman this season has accumulated more goal threat. 2.2, 0.5. And Botman played a lot less games. No, maybe not. Anyway, scored 2. 2 and 1 in 9 games. Burns got 2 and 1 in 17 games. So, yeah, whatever. I also think Botman is just nailed. Burn could be replaced, you know? They do have fullbacks that could start in his place. What did FPL... Oh, like the offensive header genius. He's really good from corners this season. He's been exceptional, I would say, in attack, from set pieces and stuff. Trippier's news. Lots of people buying Trippier, mate. All looks good on the FPL front. Who's saying he might not start? What's the news on Trippier, Matthew? Is it just the general stories about him cheating on his wife and using prostitutes and stuff? Because that's quite old news, so... Had a knock in training. I haven't seen that. See if she's got a... If this has a Newcastle predicted lineup with Trippier starting, there you go. Yeah. There weren't many queries regarding the defence. Almiron, Gordon and Murphy up front, not great. There you go. Don't see any news about a knock. I mean, this is the Newcastle lineup predictor. 20 years as a Newcastle fan. I don't really know where you got the Trippier news. It looks to me like he's going to start. It's all right, Alexandria. That's what I'm here for, mate. What's Fabio Borges' FPL ID? I'm interested to know what his team looks like. It was 22 last week, wasn't it? That's Fabio Borges' team. Pretty good, isn't it? Had Foden cap. I think he's going to do Eze to Gordon this week, by the looks of it. Or probably get Haaland as well, I'm guessing. Interesting to see what Fabio Borges does. He's meant to be... The reason I'm looking at him is he's meant to be the best FPL manager of all time. So that's why I'm looking at Fabio Borges' team. He's just a little bit ahead of me. Which I guess 50k ahead of me. But I think my team's better than his for this week. Not trying to flex, but I think my team is better than his this week. Just saying. I'm not saying I'm a better player, just saying for 1 week alone, my team looks better. Estupinian got subbed at half time in the last game. I think there's a chance he doesn't even start. The Zerbi's got to do something big with his team. He really does, because it's not great at the moment. Do I captain KDB? No. He's not going to be on penalties if Haaland plays. I think you captain. Whatever you decide to do with a captain, that's up to you. But I think you captain a penalty taker this week. I think captaining penalty takers is always the way I like to go, personally. I like captaining penalty takers. But that's just me at the end of the day. But yeah, I like captaining pen takers. That's just me, though. That's just me. He may be on Penn's Barmy Army, but I don't like maybe. I don't like a maybe. I like a certainty. I think Palmer, Solanke, Haaland are the best three this week. Take your pick of those three. That's just my thoughts. Gordon probably 4th place behind those. If you don't have any of those three, go for Gordon. It makes sense. What a horrible game week deadline this has been. I'm quite content with my team. I must say I'm very happy with my moves. Turner to Dubravka? Yeah. It depends. Depends who your other keeper is. But Dubravka for the next 3 weeks, I think, is a good shout. I've got to say. I'm starting Martinez for obvious reasons. He's got Sheffield United. I think that's a good way to play it. I would almost consider Kaminsky, because Kaminsky will double in 25. It will likely double in either 28 or 29. Could go for Kaminsky instead. Just a thought. And then just start Areola this week. Because I don't think Man United score that many goals against West Ham. I don't. Just done Taylor to Konza worth it? Probably not. Because Taylor could be a saviour in game week 26. And a lot of other teams... 29, sorry. Sorry, yes. Game week 26 when a lot of other teams blank. But I guess... No, I guess Konza plays, isn't he? It's not too bad. It's not too bad, Yellow Army. I don't mind it. It's not too bad. Just going to go, just type a message in the group chat a sec. Trippier has not been starting in team training. I wouldn't read into that, mate. I top 11 for next game week. Where are you getting this from, Malte? What's your source of that info? Any Walker news? I ain't got any, mate. I don't think we're going to get any City news. Oh, I'm going to go back to screen share. Sorry, lads. I don't think we're going to get any City news. Their game's on Monday. I still don't think even Pep knows what his team is yet, nor has told the City squad what the team is yet. I reckon they have their team meeting later today or Sunday. So realistically, a City leak, if we ever get one, is going to come after the deadline. I've done team reviews now, Gordon, I'm afraid. What have you done? Let me know. Yeah, it's not ideal, but I think you may as well hedge on Walker. Just hedge on Walker. Quite a lot of people will be starting an Arsenal defender this week or be forced into doing so. So I wouldn't worry about that. Captaincy slide for Barmy Army. It's not the most. Actually, no. I would agree with this. In my mind, this is how the expected points this week actually look. To be fair, this view here. This is the Draft Hound expected points. FPL review have Watkins top, which is interesting. But I agree with this one. I think Haaland's the best captain. Cheers for the nudge there, Victor. Sorry, Barmy Army, if I was miles away then. Solanke is missing. They don't favour... for some reason, they don't favour Solanke. He's the one that I'd say should be on there, I guess. I would probably put Solanke level with Watkins and Alvarez if it was me. My brain plotting the expected points. I'd have Solanke on 5.6. Cheers for the nudge, Victor. Hopefully that helps Barmy Army. Ooh. I agree, Barmy Army. I like the penalties. I would bench Foden. Definitely bench Foden. Gordon's the one to play over Foden this week. Melvin, appreciate you, mate. I will catch you next week or on one of the videos I make. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. Still stuck on captaincy given Haaland might not play the 490. Is it worth going somewhere different? Watkins, Gordon, Palmer, etc. in your opinion? I'm on Haaland, but I'm looking at Fabio Borges' team now. But you could easily go for Solanke or Palmer, in my opinion. Foden to Elise? Absolutely not. Foden doubles in 25. You don't want to be doing that. I'd do Elise to Foden, not the other way around. If that's what you're asking me. Kian, I'm kind of done with team reviews, mate. But if you've got any text you can type into the chat for me to help you with, I'm happy to oblige. I'd bench Foden, Rafik. I'd bench Foden of that lot. What's Draft Town saying for Foden's expected points? Let's have a look. Oh, I'm not even screen sharing at the moment. Apologies. Yeah, Foden's right up there. Not loaded yet for Draft Town. Nicholas, if you have 2 frees and nothing else to do with your team, you could well sell Colwill. I'd consider getting a Newcastle defender or maybe Connor Bradley. Maybe. But Colwill's injured at the moment. Well, down. And he blanks in game week 26. So, yeah. Oh, 1 free. I wouldn't do it. Just keep him. Porro or Gabriel? Porro. Definitely Porro. I think Gabriel concedes. Porro could keep a cleano. You know, the Spurs have their full strength defence back, don't they? Palmer, Gordon, Neto, KDB, benching Foden. Who do Wolves have? If Wolves have got a good fixture, I'd bench Foden. I don't think they got that good a fixture. Chelsea, yeah, I'd bench Neto. Bench Alvarez or Bailey? Bailey, 100%. Bailey even predicted a start for Villa. He is predicted to start. I'd still say Alvarez is the one to play. That's all right. Malte's fine. If you don't have, you're hoping for a blank. I can't get annoyed at what the outcomes that you're hoping for. That's fine by me. I'm hoping he scores a hat-trick, mate. Areola, Estupinian, Trent, Porro, Saka, Burn, Palmer, Foden. I would find a way to get Haaland in. I think with your team, you have enough cash to do Archer to Haaland. So I would do Archer to Haaland and roll the other transfer. Tony hat-trick. Against Man City. I think he'll score. I do think he can score. 10.1 in the bank. Christ. I'd consider selling Bowen for Gordon. And then maybe doing Archer to Haaland if you can do that. Or drop Bowen to someone dirt cheap and then do Archer to Haaland. That's probably what I'd do. Bowen playing 26. I think he does, isn't he? Yeah, Brentford. Not bad. We're at the FA Cup, so they have a game. Tony, mate. You just said Tony score a hat-trick. Who would I captain if I didn't have Haaland? Palmer or Solanke? I'm undecided. I'm still undecided on those two. But if I didn't have Haaland, I'd cap Palmer or Solanke. Undecided on which one. Welcome, Izana. I'd always favour a penalty taker as my captain, but if you don't have a penalty taker with a good fixture, other than Douglas Luiz, right? I cap Palmer. I don't mind Gordon, but if you've got Palmer or Solanke, they're better captains in my opinion. Gordon will start number 9, but he's got Almiron and Jacob Murphy as his other front three. It's not the best front three in the world. I do think I'd rather have a. I think Solanke's got a higher ceiling than Palmer. Solanke's taken the most shots of any player in the Premier League this season. So surely that means he gets the most chances, one of the most chances, certainly more than Palmer. I do like Solanke. I do like him. What a horrible game week for decisions, eh? I agree on Solanke. I like it. Off court, you have, everyone's been messed up by that. I think you can call yourself fortunate that you are still awake to deal with it and not in a terrible, well, not terrible time zone is the wrong word, but you know what I mean? Terrible time zone for that decision. 2 minutes to go, everyone. Might even be a minute by the time that actually reaches you with the delay. I'm just scrolling. I don't think we're going to get any news. No, nothing. Turner. Also, yeah, someone was asking about Turner. Forest bought a new keeper, so I don't think he even plays anymore. My brother, Australia gap year will be amazing. Good for you. Good luck, Alexandru. Is the double game week for Liverpool is confirmed. Brentford and Luton. Captain De Bruyne or Palmer? Palmer. Good luck to you, Alexandru. I really like the Trippier shout this week. And if he takes, imagine if he gets a penalty. If he takes a penalty, you will be bouncing off the ceilings in Bucharest. I have to call the Bucharest builders because Alexandru's head is stuck in his own ceiling. There's the deadline. That's it. That is it. I think I've been live now for 2.5 hours, so I'm going to go and have a sit down, play a game of FIFA, have some lunch, go to the gym, go for a little walk around Bristol, and then make a video tonight once all the football's finished. So thank you everyone for tuning into the stream. We had 1,264 people watch today. That's incredible. Thank you so much, everyone. Members as well. Next week, I will do a stream for 15 minutes at 8:30 a.m. UK time, just to members. So hopefully that'll be a nice little benefit for you. We'll all have just a chat about our teams and stuff for a quarter of an hour, and then I'll move on to my main deadline stream with everyone in it at 8:45. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you, everyone in the chat. That was ultimately these difficult decisions and stuff is why I like FPL. It's just I don't know. It creates a nice challenge, doesn't it? If it was easy, it'd be boring. So yeah, this is one of the things that makes the game great, in my opinion. It's just a shame with the timing of the announcement for people in different time zones. If you're asleep, you're screwed right now, aren't I? But that's what makes the game enjoyable. Yeah, if you haven't already, please like the stream, subscribe, and I will catch you. I'll have a video up tonight. I don't think it's going to go up early. I think I'm just going to, for the members, sorry, I think I'm just going to get it uploaded once all the games finish tonight. So yeah, I'll have a video up tonight. So I'll see you there. Have a good weekend, everyone. Best of luck for game week 23. I hope your captaincy pick works. If it's Haaland. If not, I hope they blank. See you later. All right, I'll go on the... hang on. You'll get my full face for a little sign off.